The Messerschmitt Bf-109, commonly known as the Me-109 by Allied soldiers, served as the Luftwaffe's backbone during World War II and is remembered as one of the conflict's most famous aircraft. But what exactly drove its success? Today, we're delving into the design, technology, and battlefield performance that drove the Bf-109 to legendary fame. The mid-1930s marked a turning point in aviation history. Many nations continued to use propeller-driven biplanes, but aircraft design was constantly advancing. Enter the Messerschmitt Bf-109, a remarkable aircraft that first flew in 1935. Designed by aeronautical experts Willy Messerschmitt and Robert Lusser, this plane laid the groundwork for modern fighter aircraft. The Bf-109's all-metal monocoque structure gave it a lightweight but extremely sturdy frame. This was combined with retractable landing gear and a closed cockpit, which were unusual at the time when open cockpits were still widespread. These enhancements gave the 109 a streamlined aerodynamic shape, considerably lowering drag and increasing speed. But what really distinguished it was its performance. The early versions, powered by the Junkers Jumo 210 engine, were much ahead of their time. Later variations, powered by Daimler-Benz DB series engines, pushed things to the next level. The DB601 and later DB605 engines enabled the Bf-109 to attain speeds of more than 400 miles per hour and achieve unrivaled climb rates. These engines employed innovative fuel injection systems, allowing the aircraft to sustain constant power even during negative G maneuvers, something carbureted engines from other nations frequently struggled with. This provided it an advantage in dogfights, where split-second maneuvers meant the difference between life and death. Beyond the figures, the Bf-109's design philosophy prioritized efficiency and simplicity. It was designed for ease of manufacturing, allowing it to be rolled off assembly lines quickly, a vital asset once the war began. By the time it made its combat debut during the Spanish Civil War, the Bf-109 had already proven itself superior to the majority of the aircraft it encountered, ushering in the start of its legendary career. The Bf-109 was a platform that changed and evolved to meet the demands of a volatile war. One key to its success was its adaptability. Unlike many aircraft dedicated to a single duty, the Bf-109 excelled at a variety of tasks, including air superiority, ground attack, and reconnaissance. Consider the Friedrich variation. For example, it was introduced in 1941 and marked a significant improvement over previous models. Its more aerodynamic design comprised a reworked nose and radiator configuration to minimize drag, as well as novel leading-edge slats on the wings. These slats deploy automatically at low speeds, balancing maneuverability in dogfights against high-speed performance in chase scenarios. When combined with the motor canona, an inventive technique that installed a cannon directly through the propeller hub, the Friedrich delivered a powerful punch without sacrificing its beautiful design. Later, the Gustav series improved the 109's capabilities even more. With the DB605 engine, the Gustav became a powerhouse. Wing-mounted gun pods, explosives, and even 21-centimeter Wurfgranate 21 rockets could be installed if necessary. These modular choices enabled it to take on heavy bomber formations, operate as a fighter bomber, and, in some situations, offer close air support. Despite its origins as a daylight interceptor, the Bf-109 had evolved into an excellent night fighter by the end of the war. Specialized variants fitted with radar and greater weapons were deployed to defend Germany from Allied bombing operations. The aircraft's versatility also enabled it to function successfully in a variety of climates, ranging from frigid temperatures on the Eastern Front to the sandy deserts in North Africa. Amazingly, the Bf-109 never stopped evolving. Each variant attempted to outperform Allied advances, ensuring that the aircraft remained competitive from 1939 until the war's end in 1945. Over 33,000 were built, demonstrating its importance. This production not only outperformed all other fighters at the time, but also demonstrated Germany's reliance on this versatile workhorse. When it comes to aerial warfare, no plane can be considered apart from the pilots who fly it. The Bf-109 was not only noteworthy for its design and flexibility, but it also served as the preferred mount for many of history's finer fighter pilots. Consider Erich Hartmann, dubbed the Blonde Knight of Germany. Hartmann scored an incredible 352 confirmed kills while flying the Bf-109. This record stands unbroken and demonstrates how dangerous the plane may be in the hands of an experienced pilot. The Luftwaffe's approach to pilot training was a contributing factor to its success. Unlike their Allied colleagues, German pilots frequently served in combat missions for extended periods of time, gaining vast quantities of flight experience. The Bf-109's design supported this idea by providing experienced pilots with great performance that rewarded their skills. Another well-known name is Hans Joachim Marseille, also known as the Star of Africa. Marseille claimed 158 kills, the most of which came in one-on-one dogfights with Allied planes such as the Spitfire and the P-40 Warhawk. He attributed much of his success to the plane's agility and ability to climb more quickly than most opponents. Marseille, which was frequently outnumbered, illustrated the Bf-109's function as a tool that required both technical proficiency and tactical competence. However, piloting the Bf-109 presented its own set of obstacles. Its narrow track landing gear made takeoffs and landings extremely difficult, especially for inexperienced pilots. This feature was responsible for a large number of training mishaps. Despite this, Luftwaffe veterans frequently adapted, commenting that the aircraft's high climb rate and battle readiness outweighed this disadvantage. The Bf-109's notoriety was not just based on its number of aces. The aircraft was a constant presence in Europe's skies, from the Battle of Britain to the massive dogfights over the Eastern Front. Its early dominance in the war instilled enormous confidence in the Luftwaffe. And even as newer Allied designs developed, the 109 maintained its position, demonstrating its worth tens of thousands of times. With aces like Hartmann and Marseille leading the attack, the Bf-109 became a legend, with its name permanently engraved in aviation history. The Bf-109's success may be attributed mostly to its inventive and practical design philosophy, which kept it competitive throughout the war. One of its most notable characteristics was the automated leading-edge slats. These slats are deployed at low speeds to boost lift and control, making the aircraft extremely nimble in tight dogfights. This enabled pilots to execute rapid maneuvers and outrun opponents when necessary, even in high-stress combat. These slats were more than simply a curiosity. They gave the Bf-109 an advantage in combat situations where agility meant the difference between survival and loss. Another distinguishing element was the liquid-cooled, fuel-injected Daimler-Benz engines. Unlike carbureted engines used in most Allied fighters, the Bf-109's fuel injection system provided steady power supply even during extreme maneuvers like -G dives. Whereas a Spitfire might splutter during a steep downward maneuver, the Bf-109 remained stable, providing its pilots greater tactical options. This edge was essential in combat circumstances, particularly dogfights, where split-second decisions determine the victor. Practicality was also an important factor. The Bf-109's modular design enabled simple field repairs. Damaged wings, engines, or other components might be readily replaced or repaired without the need for complex tools or extended downtime. This made it vital on the front lines, especially on the tough Eastern Front, where the weather and conditions were brutal. Its durability let it fly from muddy airstrips, freezing Soviet terrain, and blistering North African deserts with fewer mechanical failures than many of its contemporaries. Furthermore, its tiny airframe and aerodynamic design increased speed and performance while adding minimal weight. Pilots frequently praised its fast climb rate, which gave a substantial edge when intercepting bombers or avoiding hostile engagements. Even late in the war, when engines and airframes became heavier with additional weapons, the 109 maintained its exceptional performance capabilities. One underappreciated but clever design feature was the Motorkanone gun mechanism. By placing a weapon to fire through its propeller hub, the Bf-109 avoided many many of the aerodynamic disadvantages of wing-mounted cannons. This concentrated firepower also allowed for a more precise firing lane, making it easier for pilots to hit their targets. Later variants of the 109 added stronger armament options, such as under-wing gun pods and rockets, to improve its capabilities. Despite its excellent performance, not every aspect of the Bf-109 was flawless. Its narrow-track, inward retracting landing gear made it notoriously difficult to land, especially for inexperienced pilots. Nonetheless, experienced pilots were quick to point out that these drawbacks were a modest price to pay for the aircraft's unparalleled adaptability and agility. Its combination of inventiveness, practicality, and performance reinforced its status as one of the war's most adaptable fighters, able to stay relevant in a continually changing battlefield. From Spain to Stalingrad, the Bf-109 repeatedly demonstrated that it was more than just a fighter. It was an emblem of engineering genius. While the Bf-109's technical achievements are obvious, its history has not been without controversy and obstacles. By the end of World War II, its flaws began to appear. Allied aircraft, such as the P-51 Mustang and late-model Spitfires, had better aerodynamics, longer range, and larger fuel tanks. The Mustang, for example, could accompany bombers well into German airspace, fighting Luftwaffe pilots in their own skies. This put enormous strain on the Bf-109, which was primarily intended as a short-range interceptor. Another concern was stability. Later models' heavier weapons and armor increased total weight, limiting maneuverability and making them less forgiving to rookie pilots. While Germany's limited resources and diminishing replacement pilot quality, even the most modern Bf-109 variants struggled to keep up with Allied aircraft. Nonetheless, the Luftwaffe continued to rely on the Bf-109 for one simple reason: necessity. By 1944, Germany's industrial capacity was unable to enable extensive development of new aircraft models. The Bf-109, while no longer cutting edge, remained dependable, inexpensive to construct, and highly adaptable to a variety of missions. It became a stopgap fighter, fighting on as the Luftwaffe battled to keep its defenses intact. Interestingly, the Bf-109's legacy lasted even after World War II. Following Germany's defeat, Czechoslovakia and Spain continued to build their own variations based on the 109 design. The Avia S-199, built in Czechoslovakia, was also utilized by the Israeli Air Force in its early days, despite being famously difficult to control. Similarly, Spain's Hispano Aviación, HA-1112, preserved the 109's memory for decades. Interestingly, the Buchan model, powered by the Rolls-Royce Merlin engines, remained operating until 1965. These post-war adaptations demonstrate the Bf-109's longevity and versatility. It outlasted hundreds of other aircraft developed during its time, demonstrating how advanced it was when it was initially designed. The HA-1112 even had a second life in Hollywood, appearing as German fighters in films like the Battle of Britain. However, the plane's widespread use had a downside: its identification with Germany's Luftwaffe, which played a crucial role in the atrocities of World War II. Certain characteristics of the Bf-109's manufacturing, including its assembly in factories that used forced labor, make its history difficult. While its engineering prowess is widely acknowledged, the circumstances surrounding its usage reveal the darker aspects of its legacy. Today, the Bf-109 is examined through two lenses. For aviation fans, it's a work of art in terms of design and innovation, a plane that revolutionized air combat. For historians, it's an artifact from one of humanity's darkest periods, a weapon of war linked to destruction. Restored versions in air museums throughout the world are now used as educational aids, reminding contemporary generations of both the aircraft's technical genius and the cautionary tales of the conflict in which it participated. The Bf-109's long-term influence demonstrates its dual nature. It represents both technological progress and the unwavering drive of wartime necessity. The lessons of its development, both positive and negative, reverberate well beyond its tenure in the skies. The Bf-109's success stemmed from more than simply its speed and power. It was a combination of cutting-edge design, adaptability, and being piloted by some of history's most experienced aviators. Whether you see it as a technological marvel or the pinnacle of wartime necessity, there's no doubting its significance in aviation history. That concludes today's thorough dive into the Bf-109. If there's another aircraft you'd like us to look into, leave a comment below. As always, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe for more stories from the skies. Thank you for watching Tailwinds.